like to thank you all for being here today and for your kind words and sincere support extended to Margaret, Maya, and the rest of Mark's family. Thank you all for coming to help us celebrate Mark's life and share your stories and memories with everyone here. Let's celebrate Mark's life in a way he would have loved us to do. Just a quick note regarding the slideshow. Other than sharing photos of Mark, we also sharing photos taken by Mark. One of his passions, other than dancing, was photography. This is only a very small sampling from thousands of beautiful pictures he took over his lifetime. For those who do not know me, my name is Joanna Marzak, and I am a member of this parish community, a Polish church, Our Lady of Częstochowa. My husband and I have been friends with Margaret and Mark only last few years, so obviously I don't have as many memories and stories as some of you might have. But as I think about Mark, I remember how much he loved aforementioned dancing, good food, good wine, and great and witty discussions. His positive attitude for life and outgoing personality made him liked by everyone who knew him. I had a chance to be with Mark at several great parties, whether at his home here in Houston, or at our mutual friend's Anya's home, or here in this parish hall. We shared a few dances together, although my dancing skills are near as good as Mark's. But I would think that that never fazed him. I want to believe that he enjoys these dances as much as I did, especially when he incorporated his really beautiful, famous flamenco moves. Through the means of Facebook, we all could learn that he was an avid photographer, as we already mentioned. We so often enjoyed beautiful pictures taken by Mark in his travels, most recently around the world with the SBE Distinguished Lecture Program, or during his trip with Margaret from across the country, from Houston to Calgary. He undeniably left some long-lasting memories in our parish. I am sure that many of us, every time we will see dance group Wawel performing Mazur, we will think of Mark and the countless hours he spent teaching the group this routine. It was sad to think about Mark and Margaret moving back to Calgary, but this is so much more difficult to think about Mark not being here any longer. All we have of Mark now are our memories, but it will be some time before they fade. God bless you, Marek Skalinski, and may you rest in the eternal peace. And now I would like to extend the opportunity for all of you to share some of your favorite memories of Mark's life. Please come up here. Unfortunately, we don't have a wireless microphone, so you would have to come here and share stories and anything you feel inspired to share. Since we have many people that speak Polish or English, feel free to use whatever language you prefer. There's plenty of people that know both, and we will definitely understand.
It's been a terrible experience for all of us, and I don't really know what to say, but first I'm thinking of Margaret and Maya. I think maybe somebody else should go first. I can't do it right now. Seriously. If nobody will do it, maybe I can compose my face. So Margaret was with Mark for 11 days in the hospital, and there people were visiting, but she was a hero. She did everything possible for Mark. Mark had some excellent medical care, but it was just his time. I think that's how Margaret puts it, and that's how I see it. Nothing could have been done any differently. So he had the best of medical care. It's just extremely unfortunate that it happened the way it did. But I really hold up Margaret as a hero in this. And then Maya, I think that I should probably stay away from politics, but within 2 minutes I hear I'm in politics. And Mark and I shared a lot of political discussions. But one thing I've always thought, and really I would actually vote for this, a constitutional amendment where only women can be president, because men have made a mess of it, and certain women have the ability to pull things together, to be organized. Every detail of this evening was organized by Maya, along with an incredible number of other details, medical details. I can't go into all of it, but I'm really amazed by your ability to pull things together, Maya. So I'm going to vote for you as president, except you can't be. You were born in Poland, so it's not possible to be the U.S. president. Maybe you can be Canadian president. But I did want to say about Mark a little bit. We're just thinking back of some of his history, and other people who know these stories better, I hope, will share them in a better way than I can. But as we all know, Mark was born in Poland at a young age. I think in 1968, he managed to get out for a couple years in Paris. He was supposed to go out for 2 months and pick apples, right? And he managed to extend that to 2 years by joining up with the Russian dance team. And the Polish government allowed him to extend that visa. So dance has been a big part of his life from way back. And then after this, he immigrated or moved to Morocco in about 1980. And luckily, I don't know the exact month, but it was the month before this sort of crackdown. There was martial law declared. And if Mark had missed that by a month, I don't think we would have known him, because he would have been arrested. He was part of Solidarity, part of the editor of the paper, and a number of his colleagues were arrested and harshly treated. And so he managed to escape that issue and spent a few years in Morocco. And there's a story I don't know well, and I hope somebody will tell it. And I have a vision of Mark driving backwards up the Atlas Mountains in a car. Somebody can tell that story, but I've heard it a couple times and it's fuzzy. But I don't know if it's because the car would only work in reverse or what the issue was. But I know some old Model A cars only work up steep inclines, and Ford cars only work up in reverse, up a very steep incline. So I don't know if that was the issue. I doubt it was the Model A. But anyway, maybe somebody else can tell that one. And then, about 1984, he moved to Canada and managed to convince Margaret, which took a little bit of convincing initially, I think. And in Canada, he worked with Husky and then Chevron Canada, and then probably many people here know about his Chevron career. He's worked all over the world. As you can see in the photographs, that's Italy right there. That's Italy. That's Bruce Kaplan beating up on Mark. So Mark has been everywhere, both professionally and for his photography passion. And I worked in Angola, Kazakhstan, where I first met him. And he's been a big part of our life. We've been lucky enough to know him since Kazakhstan days. Many of you here tonight are a part of that experience, or you're part of that Angola experience, or maybe you just know him from here, from Houston. But we've been lucky to know him for quite a while. I can't say too much about his technical career because it's his footprint. Maybe you don't work for an oil company. If you're in the oil industry, you know Mark. He's got we say a big footprint across the whole industry. You may not be aware, but he just finished a tour as a distinguished lecturer. So the SPE flew him all over the world, Dubai, Africa, former Soviet Union, giving lectures about his technology. So he was an absolutely superior scientist. He did things in a way that I don't think anybody else can. I guess the last thing I think of technically is my nickname for him was a bulldog. When I worked with Mark, he wanted to do everything right. And if he had an issue, he wouldn't let it go. He would bite into it. And so if we had, I guess I'm more of a compromiser sometimes, but Mark wouldn't let an issue go. So if we have a technical problem or something needed to be solved in the right way, Mark would bite into it and would not let go. And you need a technical bulldog like Mark on any issue. So I'm very impressed with his abilities technically. Wow. This is in Italy. And here's Mark.
Oh my God.
And there you go. I actually was afraid for a second my fly was down. I didn't see what you're laughing at. But yeah, so that's the thing about Mark. He danced through life. He didn't just treat things routinely. Mark always danced. And part of that goes way back to his tradition in learning the Russian dance. But and when he came to Canada, he was part of the Polania, the Polish dance team there. He brought that team up to a really high standard. He spent thousands of hours choreographing the Polish dance team to the point where they performed in, I think in '88, the Olympics at the opening ceremony. So he was an excellent dancer, choreographer, and he loved the outdoors. So his skiing was artistic. It was very beautiful, unless he's showing off and then he broke his arm. So I guess I'm through babbling, but it's good that everybody's here, and I think our memories kind of soften the pain a bit, but I know that we're all going to miss Mark forever. I know we will as long as we live. And Mark's a shining example of somebody who has a lust for life, has a zealousness for technical excellence, and he's so generous. I mean, every time I was with Mark, he would go out of his way to help me. If we're having a small party and we're exchanging gifts, Christmas gifts, he always gave much more than he received, and that was Mark. He always gave more than he took.
Thank you so much. I think that brought a picture of Mark a little bit closer. I think a lot of us, especially in this parish, didn't know the details about his life. Please, anybody else that would like to say a few words? I knew you were gonna come.
I will read, yeah. My English is not so good like Polish. I express myself better in Polish, but I will try to read English. Maybe you will understand me what I want to say about Mark. I met Mark 3 years ago at the carnival ball here in the parish club. I only knew he was a dance choreographer who was designing the Mazur dance for our Polish dance group Wawel. I was curious about his ideas and his plans for us, but also, probably most importantly, his dancing abilities. We began the ball with the Polonaise, and Marek showed how great of a dance leader and dance partner he was. He didn't fail to impress, to say the least. We danced the whole evening, and I knew dancing was his passion, his life. As a dance coach at our practices, he was a demanding teacher. He approached everything with great professionalism. The practices were kept focused and calm. He didn't yell or criticize, but patiently answered questions and explained every detail. He taught us with his knowledge and lifelong experience, and he was revered and respected by us all. He was true a perfectionist. Each detail needed to be cared for. In the dance, the costumes, and in the overall appearance. I remember he was very nervous about our performance. He felt responsible for us, and that's why we practiced as much as we needed for him to finally say, okay, for us to go out on stage. I called him Go Maestro, or Flamenco Man. He felt especially best in this emotional Spanish dance. Through body movement and facial expressions, he could show and speak out his deepest emotions. He performed with such enthusiasm and passion, with the power to attract through his personal magnetism and charm. He wrote, "I hope my performance will inspire others and motivate me to complete my bucket list." Did he complete all the goals he had on his list before he died? I hope so. Dean Martin, a 60s singer, once said, I don't know, maybe.
You can't talk when that's going on. Just have to wait.
Dean Martin, a 60s singer, once said, "Dream as you will live forever, live as you will die today." And Marek was life's best example of this. He lived his life to the fullest and maximized every moment of his existence. He danced his last dance in this hall 3 weeks ago. I asked him to dance with me for the last time. And he looked at me with the fear in his eyes. "What do you mean, last dance?" he asked. And I answered, "The last one for tonight." Did he feel that death was soon approaching? I don't know. I do know, however, that his duende, what means passion flamenco, will stay with us, to inspire us and motivate each one of us to complete our own bucket list. His flamenco posture, his sweeping arm movements, hand clapping and rhythmic feet stomping, I will remember forever. Farewell, Maestro Skalinski. We miss you a lot.
That was absolutely beautiful, Hannah. Thank you. Now, all of you who are not members of this parish learn the other side of Mark that we knew so well from him attending this parish and helping Pavel dance group. Who is next? Anybody who would like to say something? Now that's actually our really nice group Pavel, and the manager of the group probably gonna do the talk.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gregory Vadov, and I'd like to introduce Dance Group Vadov. We are the Polish folk dance group here at the parish. We all had the privilege of dancing for Pan Marek. We call him Pan Marek. He choreographed one of our dances for us, the Mazu. When we first learned of Pan Marek working in Houston and being in the parish, we approached him and asked him, after learning of his repertoire of working with the group in Canada, if he would like to come and volunteer with our humble little group here in Houston. He agreed and decided to put together a Mazu dance, which is a dance that we previously performed, which we soon learned from him that we were doing completely wrong.